The other rod that I've got set up is a very traditional bream feeder fishing setup. This is a 12-foot power light, similar kind of rod obviously, but a bit shorter because I'm going to use a lighter feeder. I can really put more power into the cast with this. So it's a lighter feeder to that extent. Shock lead is exactly the same, reel and line exactly the same. Obviously it helps when you're using duplicate setups to have similar kit. So on the shock leader there, we've got a link that's run by Preston Innovations, but you can tie your own, and that creates sort of a running pattern oster. As you can see there, it's stopped by a number 8 stots, and again we've got a twizzle boom on this. The feeder itself that I'm going to use on this is a medium size. I might even step that down to a small or up to a large, but I've got plenty of feeders behind me in that box to allow me to chop and change through the day, sort of dictated by conditions and how many fish are feeding. The feeders themselves are the sort of the bullet style feeders, bottom loaded, so they cast really easily in the wind. If the wind picks up, then I'll use a Dutch Master style feeder, which cuts through the wind even more, but these are all right to start on. At the end of the twizzle boom there, I've got a tiny little swivel, and obviously when you're retrieving a length of hook length like this, say with double or triple maggot, you need to reduce line spin, so that's incorporated in there. Obviously when I tie the twizzle boom, I just sit that in the bottom of the loop and then twizzle it up, and it sits perfectly. In terms of the hook length on this, I'm going to vary the hook size through the day. If there's a lot of bream in the peg, then I'll look to step up the hook size, but I'm going to start with what's an 014 fluorocarbon hook length. It's a material that I like to use for my hook lengths in terms of feeder fishing because it's stiffer and it sinks quite nicely, so it counteracts sort of the weight of the hook and it just works nicely for me. In terms of the hook, on this one I've got a size 16 Kamasan B560. Again, barbed hook, but I've nipped the barb down with some style plinths on there, so it's just like a little sort of ridge in the hook, and that's going to produce a good enough hook hold for me. It's sort of more geared towards catching everything as this rig, so it can work for roach, perch and things like that. Obviously, as the day goes on and depending on how many fish are in the peg, then I'll look to change that length of hook length. I might shorten it down to maybe a foot or 2 foot and even step up the hook size to a 14 or even a 12 B560 if I'm fishing corn or large sections of worm.